While we're waiting for folks to connect, we can settle in. This will be an hour-long guided meditation, followed by about an hour period for us to connect. And I thought what we could do is take a little time to really settle in. I don't know about you, but there seems to be a lot of energy moving, a lot of very strong emotions and opinions, if not just within ourselves and surrounding us, through people we know, through the media. So to start, I thought we could just anchor ourselves here in the moment by bringing attention to the breath. So you could have your eyes closed or gently open with an unfocused gaze, whatever works for you. And let's connect with the breath in the body, wherever you're experiencing it. It may be the nostrils, the rib cage, the belly. Could be throughout the entire body, but just connecting with the breath, each inhalation and each exhalation. And it doesn't matter whether the breath is shallow or deep. And as we're holding our attention here, let's invite the exhalations to gently lengthen. So natural inhalation, nice and easy. And as we exhale, a very, very gentle effort to lengthen the exhalation. And when we slow the breath, when we lengthen the exhalation, we're triggering the parasympathetic nervous system, that rest and digest, feed and breed. It's calming the body, relaxing muscles, slowing down the heart. So inviting the body to come out of that fight or flight or freeze mode. And we don't have to want anything to happen or have particular thoughts around this. Just physiologically, we're helping to trigger that response. By inviting the breath to be relaxed, lengthening the exhale. And bringing consciousness to our breathing can be a really important component of our health and well-being. So if you're not weaving a bit of breathing practice or pranayama into your day, perhaps something to consider, just taking a few minutes, perhaps a few times a day. Because of course, when our sympathetic nervous system is triggered, that stress response affects all systems of the body, including the immune system. So we're going to now move our awareness to the area of the heart. And I thought we could work a little bit with this space because I know, again, for myself, I'm finding that I'm bracing myself a little as I interact with people. I'm sometimes judging others, especially around this COVID situation. There seems to be more and more division and polarity. Or I brace myself against being judged. Perhaps questioning myself, my own decisions, vacillating between feeling very sure and then feeling very unsure. So we can just hold this space in our attention, this heart space, and just tend to it. Try to have a very open, compassionate space within which we're going to sit with the heart. If it's feeling a little tender, a little armored, that's okay. We're just going to hold that with understanding. Understanding that we're doing the best we can to navigate this mind-body experience during these very challenging times. And perhaps extending that compassion to the hearts of others. To offer them that same consideration that they're doing the best they can. Seeing if we can soften the area of the heart. There's a beautiful innocence at the core of our hearts. And it's not having anything to do with being right or wrong or needing anything. It's a purity, just a knowing of the heart. And to move in that direction can feel vulnerable, exposed. It asks that we drop our knowing mind, our concepts, And we can't be selective of what we let go of. It's everything. What if everything you think you knew, the opposite was true? So let's not try to figure anything out or think our way to this place. Let's drop. Drop our interest in the mind's activities. Stop looking to our thoughts for meaning, for the truth. And rest more and more as that heart space. That recognizes the perfection of this moment. And we may touch sadness or fear, joy, confusion, love. That's all arising and passing within this space. We can allow everything to come and go without pushing it away, without trying to hold it and keep it. Just doing our best to relax more and more deeply. To more fully open the heart space. We may notice a change in our inner energy, and you may not. But for now, just keep the attention with the heart and be very free with what that means to you. It may mean a particular location in the body. It may not occupy a location. It may be a vast, limitless space or field. We may feel a connection to others in this space. We may feel a connection to everything. Our mind is very devoted to knowing. And we're going to take this time during this practice to see what the heart wants. What does the heart worship? Does it want for anything? Is it lacking anything? Or is it completely content to be just here? Is there a sense of deep gratitude for simply being? Nothing else is needed. And thoughts may be arising and tugging at your attention as they do, except now we're conscious that that's happening. And as soon as we realize that our attention has been snagged by the mind, our awareness has contracted and gripped upon the object, which is a thought. We simply relax the mind, dropping that thought. Even if we're mid thought, even if it seems meaningful and juicy, it may be very hard to let go. But we release our attention from the mind and open as the heart space. Open as the space that the thoughts come and go in. That the body sensations arise and pass in. The emotions. So nothing needs to stop. We don't need a quiet mind. We don't need a feeling of peace in order to rest as the awareness. So not letting the attention land on any sensory object for long. And of course it will, because that's a habit that we have. Our attention lands. We zoom in. To the exclusion of everything else. So over and over, relaxing that contraction of the mind. Just an easing and opening of any grip on a thought. And the mind may want to know this space. It may want to know how to get there. Maybe a formula or a map. But we need to burn the map to find this place. We need to let go of everything that's familiar to us. And there's nothing that needs to happen to realize this open knowing, this awareness, aware of itself. It's happening now. We just get fixated on objects of sound, of feeling, of thought. We have been trained our whole life to fabricate this self, this sense of a separate, congealed self from those elements. So if we can shift our attention to the knowing of what's arising and passing, that knowing is unchanged. It's the same knowing we've had our whole life, has no character to itself or quality. It doesn't get tired. It doesn't get angry. It doesn't suffer injuries. It's the knowing. And my knowing of my foot being asleep is the same as the knowing of the sound of my dog barking. There's not a different knowing. It's the same as yours. It's the same as mine. Every single person on this planet shares the same knowing, the same awareness. All those little quirks or personality habits, bodies, they're just these ever-changing flows of sensory experience, of conditioned thought patterns. We are, we are always aware. We don't turn our awareness off and on. But we don't always notice that we are aware. So we take the time together now to realize this very simple truth. And as you hear my words, the sounds. Take a look and see if there's any difference between your knowing of the sound of my voice and the sound of my voice itself. Is there really a you hearing the sound of my voice? Or is there just the sound of my voice? Is there just the sensation in your body? Are there just thoughts arising and passing in this open, aware space? Do they really have to belong to somebody? As we relax more deeply into this open awareness, as we become more and more aware of awareness itself, you may notice the mind kind of scrambling or disoriented, freaking out a little bit. And this is leap. This is the leap into the unknown. This is the move towards being no one. And that doesn't mean we don't have emotions or thoughts or sensations arising in the body. We're just less and less identified as a person, a separate, solid, fabricated person that's all happening to. And more we take a perspective that these things are just happening. Anger is happening. Pressure in the body is happening. Thoughts are happening. So letting go of the idea of a you, of the ego or personality that's having these experiences, can be very liberating. If there's no longer a you, an ego that needs preserving, that needs protecting, defending, can be a profound relief to be free, to be present, to drop the weight of the past. To drop these thought patterns that confine us into this little box of a self, feeling that there's some value to staying in that box, to continue to repeat these mind patterns. We're learning to delete the entire program, to stop believing that we're limited by these ideas of who we are, what we are. Is the mind trying to make something happen? Is the mind trying to figure out the secret? There is no secret. Let the mind run its program, try to figure out what's happening, to anticipate, to repeat. We're just going to withdraw our attention from the mind. We're going to open our attention to include everything in that open, aware field. There's that stillness that we can access that's completely unmoved by all of the comings and goings. It's like moving from the surface of an agitated ocean and dropping deeper into that quiet inner stillness. We can think of this open, aware space as the source of being. It's the space that births moment to moment our experience, and it's the space into which everything returns. Every moment is a death, and every moment is a birth. We never repeat the same moment, it's always new. And as this open awareness, this knowing that we exist, this field of awareness that we all share, that awareness doesn't get involved with what's happening. It is the space within which happenings occur. And it's also the happenings themselves. Like waves are born out of the ocean and return back. This awareness recognizes itself in the arising and passing of all of our experience. We know that there are many layers to our being. There's parts of ourselves that are conscious and some that are unconscious. So when we connect to the heart, perhaps we can begin to explore whether we're coming from our heart as we engage with the world or our mind, but also we can look at the level or depth of heart? Is it that heart that is conditioned and needs protection? Or is it the deeper, true heart that can open unconditionally to what is? That big heart that can hold the personal heart. And as we excavate in the heart space, it can be very intense. We can come into contact with strong sensations in the body, energy moving, emotions. So just doing our best to stay with and navigate that space as long as it feels stable and safe to do so. Just like we're perhaps forging a new relationship with our heart. So it can take time, be very patient. So for the last few minutes of this practice, I would invite you to let the eyes gently open. Take in some of the environment around you, but try to stay connected to that heart space. Don't end the practice. You may open your eyes and see an image on your screen, maybe of myself or of the group. Could be objects in the room around you. And notice what's happening in your inner world, your inner energy. Is there a little contraction, a little opening, a little movement of energy? And it's all good. We're not looking to make anything happen. We're not looking to walk around as open, flowing, pure love. We're looking to be present and aware. Aware of the space within which our heart is present. To be open and unconditional with ourselves, with our experience. And to maybe still have a little line to that knowing that is unaffected by our emotional state, our physical sensations. And this may be very challenging as we bring more of the external environment into our practice. So allowing that to be. Feeling frustrated is happening in that knowing space. feeling pain, restlessness is arising and passing in that open knowing. It's all included. And you can even let this body start to move if it wants to move, stretch, reposition. But we still have a couple of minutes in our practice. This is all included. You know, we sit still and sometimes with our eyes closed to start to make contact with this truth of our experience, that this is all happening within this awareness. This is all a knowing. But then we can start to carry that into motion, into life, because it's all that. It's not separate. There's nothing we can do for it not to be known in this open awareness. I don't have a gong set up or a bell to ding today. So here I have my son's can of, that's the best I can do today. Sorry. It's all that. So yeah, we have time. I see Lori. So good to see you. Hi, Lori.
Hi, Tanya. Hi, everyone. Well, I just want to